So let's talk more about when I was being held and tortured in Camden, Maine. So, you might wonder, did I try to escape? And yeah, I did. I tried to escape twice, and the second time I succeeded, but then I've been on the run ever since, and, lots of horrible stuff. But the first time I tried to escape, they had forced me to buy this house, which I couldn't really afford, nor did I ever want, and 2 houses down from my predator, Ethan Shaw. And he was using the proximity so that on his quote-unquote dog walks, he could come and hurt me and force me to write these crazy emails saying how badly I wanted him to hurt me, which was just, I was being tortured. Any rate, so while he was coming to my house and torturing me, he filed this insane protective order that I saw that was all about how endangered he felt from me and his son, who I actually have never met. I did see him out my window once, looking out my window of my house, but that's it. And how endangered he felt because I was stalking him with no real evidence, just that he felt endangered and he was getting all these emails. And that's pretty much the extent of it. At one point, I did go to his house because they were desperately trying to force me to keep going to his house. And, that's not something I would ever want to do. So I was being tortured a lot, but resisting going to his house, even when I was 2 houses down from his house. So the only thing they could really say I was stalking him with was these emails they were forcing me to send because they were in my house torturing me. But, you can block emails, right? And the emails actually were all to his work email address, LexisNexis. So you can block emails, but he just didn't, right? Because that was the only evidence that they had that I was, quote-unquote, stalking him. Sending him these crazy emails that I was literally being tortured to send. And sometimes it wasn't even me typing out the email from my devices. So there was this, he came up with this, I was delivered this crazy protective order as if I'm stalking him and no real evidence of that and that he's in danger. But it turns out that a stalking case in Maine, one of the things is you have to prove that one of the important things about it is that you feel yourself in danger, which I'm guessing was meant to protect women, right, from stalkers. Women don't really stalk men because in the patriarchy it's really not possible for women to stalk men. We don't perceive ourselves as owning them or that they're not human or that they belong to us as property, which the patriarchy teaches men that women are. So women don't really stalk men. And again, there's no data really because men like Martin are in charge and they don't want to see the real evidence of what's happening. So this crazy protective order that he feels so in danger and he feels like his son is so in danger because he's getting these emails from me, and they forced me to buy a house I couldn't afford or wanted. The house was actually pretty nice, but I couldn't afford it, especially now that my job was gone. Everything was gone. And they forced me to buy my own torture items, too. They enjoyed that, taking me to stores or shopping online with my own money, buying items of torture, sexual torture. So after this protective order came out, and I was like, wow, he's, on top of everything else, they're trying to put me in jail, framing me for stalking the people who are torturing me. And in 1 week, I sold all my furniture, and I went back home to California. And my mind was shot, right? I can't even fathom what's happening to me. couldn't even really fathom it. And I was being tortured, and I just couldn't fathom what was happening to me. All I wanted to do was just get home. Just get home. And so I fled back to California, told the realtor who had sold me the house, like, sell the house. And I leased an apartment, and I bought a car, and I was mostly just insane, but just happy to be far, far away from that, whatever that was. And about a month after I was in my new apartment, I came home, and Shaw and this other guy who called himself Bruno were waiting there. And I tried to leave. I tried to run down the stairs, and they caught me, and they forced me into my apartment there and assaulted me, and then they forced me to come back to me and to the house, which now had no furniture. So I was there in the house that had no furniture for about a month, and then they set the house on fire. They tied me to a chair and set the house on fire. Loosely. They tied me loosely to a chair. Were they trying to kill me? I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to kill me, or if this was like a warning, like, don't run away, or I don't know, because no one ever said anything to me about it. But I did escape from that situation. My house was burned almost to the ground. And then other horrific stuff. And then the inspector, the fire inspector, thought it was arson, which it was, and then blamed me. They took my phone and I went to the hospital after that because I was in shock, of course. And they took my devices that were in my house and never returned them, and had no evidence of anything because, yes, it was arson, but I was the victim. I mean, insanity, right? And, like, by the way, this is a common feature of being trafficked. Being in a house with no furniture, right? That sort of, somehow they blame me for that. Like, I'm crazy because I'm living in a house with no furniture. Everything was sort of blamed on me, the victim. Even though they publicly talked about these letters that I was being forced to send, saying I was his slave, his sex slave, I wanted him to hurt me. It makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. It was beyond awful.